I want you to picture this. A group of Airmen, they served, they deployed, they wore the uniform. And when it came time to retire, the Air Force told them, sorry, you're not getting paid. Imagine giving your career to the military only to find out at the end that your retirement was taken away because of paperwork, policies, or your identity. Well, that's exactly what a new group of Air Force members is claiming. And now they're taking the Air Force to court. Earlier this week, transgender airmen filed a federal lawsuit saying the military wrongfully stripped their retirement pay even after completing their service. This is not a political issue. This is right and wrong issue. And if the military promises retirement, the military should honor that promise. Today, I'm going to break down what happened, why these airmen say their pay was denied, what the lawsuit demand, and what this means for all service members, straight, gay, trans, every single one of us who served. Let's get into it. All right, guys, welcome back to Military Insider Show. So these are some breaking news. So here's the story. A group of transgender Air Force members say they completed their service requirements and expected to receive military retirement pay just like any other airman or any other member that served in the military, right? But according to their lawsuit, the Air Force suddenly told them that their service didn't count the way they thought it did. That's something in their medical status, transition-related treatments, or administrative paperwork impacted their credible service. And because of that, their retirement payment was denied. Can you believe that? No warning, no explanation, no due process, just you're not getting paid. The Airmen say they tried to appeal. They filed a bunch of forms. They talked to legal clinics. They talked to military lawyers, and still nothing. That's why they are now taking the Air Force to court. According to the legal filing, hear me out, these airmen accuse the Air Force of violating due process, applying medical rules inconsistently, denying retirement benefits based on gender identity, failing to follow its own retirement regulations. Their lawyers argue that the Air Force is misusing policies meant for fitness for duty and unfairly applying them after service has already been completed. The lawsuit said these airmen earned their retirement, they completed their time in service, they met the requirement, the retirement should not be taken away years later. And they won the court to restore their payment, recognize their service as fully creditable, stop the Air Force from doing this to anyone else. Now, let me know in the comments what you guys think about this so far. Because if you ask me, I think this is completely wrong, regardless of their gender identity. If they serve this country, I believe and I know they should be able to get their retirement regardless of what happened, regardless of the new policies they're trying to implement with the DEI and transgender and gender dysphoria and all that. I think these airmen deserve the retirement pay. The Air Force is not commenting on the lawsuit, which is normal. But we do know is this. The Pentagon has updated transgender service policies several times over the years. Different administrations have changed the rules back and forth. And each time that happens, people fall through the cracks. The lawsuit is saying these airmen fell through the cracks and it cost them their entire retirement. Now, here's what the people need to understand. You might think this only affects transgender airmen. It doesn't. Anytime the military reinterprets a rule, anytime the military change how service time is counted, anytime the military decides a medical condition suddenly doesn't qualify, your retirement, your benefits, everything is impacted. The lawsuit matters because it raises the question, can the military go back and change your retirement eligibility after you serve? Because if they do it once, they can do it again and again and again. But the thing is, today is transgender airmen, but tomorrow it could be disabled vets, reservists, medical retirees, anyone who doesn't fit into a perfect category. So this is what I found today when I was talking about the report that came earlier this week. This is the article. Transgender member of the Air Force sue over losing retirement pay. A group of 17 transgender members of the Air Force are suing the U.S. government over what they say is the military unlawful revocation of their early retirement pensions and benefits. The lawsuit filed in a federal court Monday comes several months after the Air Force confirmed that it would deny all transgender service members who have served between 15 and 18 years the option to retire early and would instead separate them with their retirement benefits. So the Air Force came out with this early retirement if you served between 15 and 18, and now if you are in this category with gender dysphoria, they gonna deny your early retirement and they're just gonna separate you based on unfit for duty without retirement benefits. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments. Let's continue on. It is just the latest in a series of legal challenges to the Trump administration policies that have sought to push transgender troops out of the military since the early days of his second term. The U.S. Supreme Court in May, however, allowed the ban on trans troops to be enforced while legal challenges proceed. According to GLAD Law, one of the advocacy groups that helped bring the lawsuit, service members affected by the policy will now face a loss of up to $2 million owed for their service over the course of their lifetime, in addition to the loss of health insurance benefit. There's a lot of things that is involved here, guys, that you need to understand. We're talking about retirement pay. We talk about health benefits for the member and their families, regardless of their identity, regardless of if they are, they have gender dysphoria. It doesn't matter. What I think is, if these people serve our country honorable, they deserve a honorable retirement, regardless of what their identity is. All right, Michael Haley, staff attorney with the group, said the revocation of the early retirement benefits was part of the general cruelty in attacking transgender people. He noted that many of the plaintiffs had received orders allowing their retirements and that some had been even begun the process of getting out of the military. Logan Ireland, a master sergeant in the Air Force with 15 years of service that includes deployment to Afghanistan, joined the lawsuit after having his early retirement denied. He told the Associated Press that the military taught me to lead and fight, not retreat. Stripping away my retirement sends the message that those values only apply on the battlefield, not when a service member needs them most. These are folks who are going to move on with their life, had received the okay to do so, and then have that taken away from them once again, Haley said. The Pentagon did not immediately respond to comment, but has a long-standing policy of not commenting on ongoing litigation. That's normal when this military service gets sued. They don't do any press conference. They don't comment on anything until everything is seen by the court, which is kind of normal. President Donald Trump and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth have targeted diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts in what they say is an effort to make the military more lethal. Pentagon officials said 4,240 troops have been diagnosed with gender dysphoria, which the military is using as an identifier of being transgender. This is a very thin line here because they are using gender dysphoria to put all these members out of the military and classify them as unfit for duty. I don't know, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this. I really think that if they serve our country honorable, they need to give them their retirement. They need to give them the benefits they need, they earn, because they did their time. I think they should give those benefits back to them. And if they want to get out of the military, let them get out of the military. Don't just kick them out, but give them their retirement. They earn it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Make sure you hit that like, you hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel out. And we'll see you on the next one. Stay safe.